Hello, welcome to the program Sports Preview on Bua Community Voice. It is getting as interesting as it can get because we all saw on Wednesday with Arsenal dropping a whopping 2 points that got down their lead on the top of the table to 5. That is to say, if Manchester City gets all 3 points in their game in hand, it might come down to as low as 2. A very sorry state for the Arsenal bottling company. Yes, you heard me right. Arsenal will always bottle it. It's looking like they will bottle it again this time because they've still got Chelsea to play. There is Man City to play, Tottenham Hotspur, and a host of other tough games. Let me not dwell on the tough games. Remember that Wolverhampton Wanderers is the least team on the log fighting for their life in the English Premier League. My name is Orji of the Double, and I'll be doing this with a gentleman and lady who will be flanking me to make sure that we bring you superb analysis on this wonderful program. Proudly sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. Don't go away. Joining me to talk about this is a gentleman and lady. Actually, good to have you on the program. So you look good, by the way. And I have also with me Sia Izolo and the man Born Free Joe. How did you manage to get the sleep last night?
I had to. It's common for Arsenal fans. You have to.
Yeah, you have to be strong.
Yeah.
Yes, as an Arsenal fan, one thing you must have is a mind to absorb pressure. You must learn how to withstand heartbreak. But that's not the point of contention today. The Premier League is back and better. We also what happened in the Champions League and of course in the Premier League, talking about the games on Tuesday and of course Wednesday. Wednesday was the main deal at the Millennium where the game ended 2-2. Arsenal running up 2-0 before they were drawn at 90 minutes plus 4. But this weekend comes with amazing fixtures. Aston Villa sits at home to welcome Leeds United. Brentford will play against Brighton and Hove Albion. To be Chelsea up against Burnley at the Stamford Bridge. West Ham takes on AFC Bournemouth, and we'll have Manchester City who takes on Newcastle. Sunday will not be any different because Crystal Palace takes on Wolves. Nottingham Forest will battle Liverpool, and Sunderland takes on Fulham. Arsenal again, because that's where we'll talk about it. It goes head to head with Tottenham Hotspur at the new Tottenham Stadium. In fact, we all know how it's been to play a game on Wednesday and come back to play on a Sunday. I know the energy in the Emirates will be so negative, especially with how they consider that second goal. We also what happened to Raya and Gabriel and all of that. But we'll come to that. First off, let's start off with the fixture between Chelsea and Burnley that we have played at the Stamford Bridge. After suffering a humiliating defeat last weekend, the trip to Chelsea side in fine form is looking bleak for relegation battling Burnley. In fact, for Burnley, I feel like where they are in the league now is not where a lot of things we want to be. You don't want to get promotion from the championship and come and struggle from the get-go. And that being the case. We've seen some teams witness life different in the league, like Sunderland. They are not looking at European places. But for Burnley, it's looking like they might be going straight down. I don't think the fixture against Chelsea will do them any good this year.
Yeah, Chelsea has always been at what I would call upper advantage when it has to Burnley. I think their head-to-heads, about 19 of their head-to-heads, Chelsea has been able to win 13 of them and drawn 5 of them, which is quite impressive. But then, it is not something to look away from because any relegating team or team that is on the balance is always coming in very aggressive. And I'm talking about very aggressive. 9 of those head-to-heads with Burnley, whichever one Burnley has come close or has eventually won, Chelsea, has always been done at the Stamford Bridge. So let's look at it this way. Chelsea is doing pretty well, judging from the last matches in the league. But then Burnley is coming in because they really need to win the match, not because it's going to be proving anything, but they really just want to win the match to have something, something of good to their record. And Chelsea has to be very, very, very observant about that, very, very careful about that, and they position themselves well. Just like I would always say, a startup with the lap for Chelsea is a no-no for me anytime, any day, because from day one, from get-go, I've always seen that guy as one of the mistakes Chelsea made this season as to sign him for a forward. And he has always tried to prove me right, for a striker who has barely 3 goals to his credit since joining the season. I think it's not something to write him about. But then again, Chelsea just needs to brace up and come out just the same way they will come out against Manchester United or Manchester City.
But I think I will disagree with you on that. Because he had
I want to mention that
and every time a player who gets injured and had that ACL, they never recover. I mean, we see what happened to that. We have seen what's happening to Rodri. He's struggling.
And a number of other players.
Now, really come back to the way they
Our
used to be.
Nigerian Victor Boniface is an example. It's never easy to come back from that long run of injury.
Now let me start from Victor Boniface. Victor Boniface has never really been an outstanding player, an outstanding striker. He has never really been those strikers that you come and you say, hey, this guy is doing pretty well.
But he did that.
How much of that did he do? For a full
Now let
me come back.
I feel like he was good enough for his age.
Let me come back to Dela. Dela, even before the injury, wasn't that fantastic.
He was.
As far as I'm concerned, because let me talk from the Chelsea perspective. We want Chelsea would have loved, or Chelsea entire management and fan base would have loved somebody who is proactive. The lap is not proactive. The lap is there. Even a converted striker plays better than the lap. Let me tell you, Jackson might not be everything, but Jackson even plays more position as far as I'm concerned than the lap. I would have preferred a Jackson over a the lap anytime, any day.
Well, we all know that a lot of things have happened at Chelsea. Manager changes, injuries, changing style of play. We all know all of the dramas going on there. We'll have to look at Rezoloa also talking about this game. Near Rezoloa, Arsenal remained the only team that beating Chelsea since he has taken over reins at the Stamford Bridge. And now we are seeing Chelsea go head to head with the Burnley side. Chelsea have dropped a league high of 15 points for winning position in the Premier League at home matches this season. Another home game, another chance for a team to try. Away from Arsenal, who've done it even in the Carabao, and that's about the only team that will be able to beat Chelsea. Do you think Burnley stand a chance against Chelsea?
Burnley, for me, I think Burnley in the other side, in their match against Crystal Palace, you saw what happened in that match. Just like he said, Burnley in the other side, this side they will come with force in the relegation side, just like what happened to Arsenal in the week. You saw the way it happened. These relegation sides have a way of let's fight for this.
You understand that it's either the
you can play someone in the first that's the first 10 down to maybe 15. You play a comfortable match. But when you are playing people from maybe that 18th position, 17, 18, 19, the match is another different level.
Especially at this stage of the competition.
And for Burnley will want to take something away from that game after taking something away from Crystal Palace. Because in Crystal Palace, I never expected them to get anything away at Crystal Palace. And that was an away game. So Chelsea Chelsea has to be careful. I just hope they have to be careful when it comes to this.
Especially with the record of Burnley always wanting to overshadow Chelsea at the bridge.
Yeah, at the bridge, we've seen Burnley wanting to get some of the points that they'll be able to manage against Chelsea come up at the bridge. We must also record that Kopama has been involved in 14 goals in 12 Premier League starts for Chelsea against promoted sides, scoring 8 goals and 6 assists, 4 of which came in 2023-2024 against Burnley. 3 goals and 1 assist. Do you see Chelsea having a walk in the park against Burnley?
I think on paper, it's a very easy game for Chelsea on paper, knowing that they're going to play a relegation threatening side like Burnley. But like Chris has always said, it is always a very difficult game to play against the relegation waters too. They They just know that okay, they are going to the championship, but let's give it a fight. And they always do it towards the second half of the Premier League, and that is the stage they are right now. So they just want to be okay. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can come out from this phase that we are. But sometimes it's, or for me, it's always like it's too late to fight this battle. How many matches remaining? I think 12 matches to go, and then we are now beginning to fight. I need to fight from the beginning of the game. So I think it's going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea. But I think it's Chelsea have the quality to play Burnley.
Yeah, Chelsea with the quality to be able to play Burnley in that.
Are you an anti-Delap?
I'm wondering because Delap is I feel like he's just here to find his form.
I think I agree with it's not something we should dwell on, but I think I agree with Wayne Rooney when he said not Wayne Rooney, Jimmy, a character that says that Delap is Chelsea is bigger than Delap, and I think I agree with him. When he was in Ipswich and he was doing well, a very comfortable player, and then all of a sudden he left to Chelsea side.
I'm never judging a player with the first season. Never.
It's not about just like
I had 10 goals in his first Chelsea season. I can never forget. And interviews have surfaced time and time again where Mourinho said, if you want to go back to Marseille, be the god there, play in every single game, score goals like you want, pack your bag and leave. But if you want to fight and become an elite footballer, stay back and fight for it. And then we all know what happened. How many times was he the top scorer in the Premier League?
I like what you said.
How many times he even got into the most 100 goals?
He's ready to fight.
Yes, that's number one. What did you say?
That starting ahead of him.
He's a converted striker. Now, you used DJ Drogba as an example. That's beautiful. You said 10 goals in a season, and Delap does not have up to 3 goals. He just joined the season. And then Jopendo, that is a converted striker, has more goals. Even a midfielder has more goals than every season. And then you're saying, and you're giving me his injury quite alright. We understand that those things happen. But then this is not the person we were supposed to. Chelsea was supposed to have.
Let's the game on Wednesday made it how many goals from Bukayo Saka? 86. No, 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, for Saka.
Okay, now let me answer you. Wait, let me answer you.
Saka is striker.
No, wait.
Saka is the penalty taker for Arsenal.
Okay.
Saka is Arsenal's main man.
Okay, chill.
Now, for Bukayo Saka to be on 5 goals or 6 goals, I'm not very sure. Now, that's what I'm saying. Now, does that make a Bukayo Saka a less of a player? The answer is no.
Let me answer you. Bukayo Saka, before you are judging Bukayo Saka by this season, and that is well.
And you're judging Liam Delap by this season.
And I'm judging Liam Delap by this season because he just came into this season. When Saka came into Arsenal when he was brought into the senior team, Arsenal senior team, what was and he was a striker. Was a striker.
Good. Let's take it down to strikers. Where is Victor Yokeres will go?
Well, we're not talking about Yokeres. Yokeres is not even. He's part of the problem. We're not talking about Yokeres.
Exactly.
He's not part of
Where is he?
That's what I'm saying. It's the first season syndrome. Let's allow it. Exactly.
Even Yokeres has scored more goals than the lap you're calling. You're calling. But one thing you should understand is that how many match has what is his name?
Yeah, the last time
I see. Carrick said everything, single thing necessary. Chelsea is bigger than the lab. He is not ready to be able to, put in a fight because probably this English syndrome of a thing from
same thing I would say with
English syndrome.
He was a star with Crystal Palace, and then he came to Arsenal,
just for,
and he's now looking like
he's in Arsenal where the pressure is higher. And it's just going to take time. Exactly, to take you time to readjust.
And then the TSA came in and then showed time without number.
You don't trust him enough.
We don't. Now we're talking about Mikel. This guy did not show.
How will you put in?
Do you know that the lab sees a one-on-one and then still
cannot trust him more?
On most occasions, the lab even fails on a one-on-one.
Well, we all have our.
I mean, just people have issues because I mean, this is the same thing you were talking about the Black Jackson.
No.
If that just were not going to that Jackson, they just know how to do that players.
No. We're not making that up. Come on now.
It's going to be a
Yeah,
conversation.
should be
Another
a conversation
for another time.
of this one when we'll have the time to say things that will be recorded for future purposes. I still believe like Liam Delap is a baby striker. He's going to grow.
But doesn't fit into Chelsea.
Thank you. He should go back to
Which switch? If
and
you
then
don't
West Ham. Aston Villa.
Relax.
Aston Villa.
So
And then
he's good for Aston Villa. He's good for West Ham. He's good for this. Not
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea plays
No
in the
player is
Aston Villa.
not good enough for any team.
No,
The only thing there you just have to fight for your shirt.
No,
And
no.
that's
Is it
what
ready? I think this player is not ready.
Pressure
The
on
pressure in Chelsea
Chelsea
is not.
He cannot
He
withstand
cannot
it.
be able to do that.
what you're saying is the same thing that boils down to a very
That's
chase.
what's happening to Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko is a good player, but the pressure in Manchester United is affecting him.
So the top scorer in the Belgian league last season, Tony Arokodai, is struggling to start a game or struggling over 200 and to get goals. To start a league making a bad player. The answer is capital N-O, no. He's not a bad player.
It means he does not fit into the philosophy of the club. I'll
that's
go
not
from that
how-
angle.
that's
He's
not
not
how-
a player.
That's not how
Because sometimes managers, the style of play.
that's
Number
not
one, the league. You look at the league, number
If we
one.
go
What's
on,
his name?
Then look at the
if
philosophy
we go
of the
on
club.
and
That's
on
not
and on.
about the club.
Okay, let's take a look at what Lukaku is. What is his name? Lukaku. Yeah, is it not? Lukaku also is doing presently now.
Yeah.
Lukaku is it the one that?
When I'm talking about philosophy, yeah. Lukaku plays very well in other clubs, but whenever it comes to Chelsea, he's a flop, total flop. That shows that philosophy of Chelsea does not fit in to what he actually does. To me, as an individual,
See, every what you should understand.
now
Every player has a way, has a Chelsea. He plays his normal, his A game. For Lukaku, he may have it there because the passes comes to him. In England, it's a different thing altogether.
well, let's not dwell so much on it. I just want us to understand
See.
that class is permanent, form is temporary. And let's not mistake a player who's not in form as a bad.
So you
Because
just
they have
say
class.
Ronaldo. Now let's look at I Ronaldo was in England, he performed. He went to Real Madrid, he performed. He went to Italy, he performed. Even in Saudi Arabia, he's performing.
Ronaldo is really hard.
That's what I'm saying. That you must be an exceptional player to fit in everywhere.
So-
Then you will not check
so
yourself. Can I fit
Hazard
in?
is not an exceptional player because he didn't fit in that pattern.
He's not an exceptional
He
player.
had injury crisis and
He's
was
not.
not
He's
in
a lazy player. It was said even with Mourinho said
You're not
it.
understanding me.
There are some managers that can permit it, but when he went to another club,
Was
the
he-
manager brought out
The likes of Adebayo. The likes of
It's
Adebayo.
just like this guy,
He
this
was a
Nigerian
lazy player.
forward.
Was Adebayo a lazy player?
When he was
What's
come to
the-
Manchester City,
This Nigerian forward.
In Arsenal, he was given all the chances.
But even when Arsenal was a bad player in Arsenal.
But how many goals did he score for Arsenal?
He was part of the forward for this AFCON, but he did not play much. He played, but then he did not
Which
play.
club?
I think he
Country.
played for Nigeria. I think he
Aqua
scored one
Adams.
goal.
They are
Not that.
No, Paul Onachi.
He came to England to play. The philosophy of that club he did not even. I don't think he scored up
Of the
10 goals.
Is
You understand?
Is it?
But now
Now,
he's in Turkish.
I'm everywhere. The lab does not
Is it
fit into
I'm
Chelsea.
saying no. Is it the quality of the league? Quality of the
It is
team.
the quality.
I'm coming. Quality of the league.
Quality.
Quality of the team. Or quality of the player.
Quality of the team.
First of all,
Quality of the team.
for me,
Quality of the league. And then the player itself.
Quality of the player.
Number
Do
two.
you know that?
Now that's where the player does not fit in.
Okay, let me
The
bring
player does
this.
not
Let
fit
me
into
bring
those
this thing.
things.
Can you say that in the 5 matches Haaland played?
Oh yeah, Haaland is there.
What will you now call? What will you now say?
The philosophy of
That he didn't fit into the philosophy or 5 games without a goal.
Haaland's debut. Haaland's debut. He scored goals.
Relax. I'm not talking about them.
He was actually the best for that season.
Let's rest it. I think we have to talk about it. Not the points that we talk about. Talk about player strength,
And
form, class. So when we analyze all of this, that's why we time the speed of the player, the movement of the player, we time the speed of the player, the movement of the player, shot accuracy, then we'll go game per game, maybe player to player. Because when you say, oh, he's not a good striker, you won't talk about the positioning, the finishing, the line breakers, all of this.
No.
No, go get your pass ready. Maybe we'll have a day for it. Let me just tell you that Jimmy Gittins been missing since the beginning of February for Chelsea, while Burnley's Axel Tuazembe is set for another spell on the sideline. So these are players who will be making it for that particular game. So let's get as fast as we can. City takes on Newcastle. In fact, Newcastle on Wednesday was a dominant force to beat Karabakh 6-1 in an encounter in the Champions League. In fact, to turn the second leg affair into more like a ceremonial game. And you begin to wonder, is this not the same Newcastle that have really struggled to stay consistent in the Premier League? And I feel this is a game Pochettino understands that he must find a way to win. That is, if at all, he wants to mount as much pressure as he needs to on Arsenal, Chiwengo, he must find a way to beat Newcastle, which we know that Eddie Howe is not a manager that you can pat on the back and say, look, we've done this, done and dusted. And we see what happened even in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and all of the clubs that Newcastle have been able to do head-to-head with Manchester City. It's not an affair that you can look at and say, look, we have this very well under control. What do you think? Because you must remember that in the Premier League in 2025, it was Newcastle got a 2-1 win over Manchester City. So let's look at it. But we've seen City beat Newcastle over 2 legs this season already in the Carabao Cup after losing in that Premier League game. What are your takes?
I think at the beginning of the season, we all saw that Newcastle was not in very good. They don't start the season the way they used to start, because last season they were forced to reckon with last season. But this season, they missing out on their top striker, that is Alexander Isak. It affected them. It's looking like Eddie Howe did not know what he was doing at the start of the season. But I think they're beginning to take form. They're beginning to get their rhythm right, even though some players have not yet gelled into the team. But I think Newcastle is coming up at the second half of the season. They are making a statement, and I think they have something to give. And they will probably finish in the top 10. That I am certain of. But to play against the Manchester City, who have now come into a very serious form, and now they have the chances of winning the league. With what happened to Arsenal at the midweek, we all saw that the point is now reduced, and now this is the time for a Manchester City who did not win any trophy last season. That's not the way of Pep Guardiola. He comes to a season and makes sure he wins something. And now this season, they have chances of winning the Champions League. But I will not really say they can win the Champions League because of the way they are playing. But to see this Premier League, they have something to touch. And their players are talking tough. I mean, the other day, Bernardo Silva is saying that they have a height on the Premier League. Even Semenyo that just came in yesterday says he wants to win trophy with Manchester City. And this is the time to do it. I mean, in their careers, they may not have may not be able to do it with Crystal Palace, but they can do it with Manchester City. I think the player philosophy is right. The players are eager, they want to win something, and I think that will go for them. And then the manager they have is a very competitive manager. I think they have it going for them. But a Newcastle who is also building, who is trying to also get something in the Premier League, it's going to be a difficult one, but I'm going to give it to Manchester City.
Man City anytime, any day, in your opinion. But considering that Newcastle win 3 straight, and City have done 4 straight in the last 5 games, and that's a statement, because in the last 2 that Newcastle have lost, there's one to Brentford and another to City. tells you about how rejuvenated and how he and the boys are becoming. They are even thinking about getting a new striker by the summer because it looks like what Made is not delivering the pulling unit, as the streets want to say. Where do you think the battle will be won or lost in that fixture?
I think basically it will be in. I mean, Newcastle defense is not been solid. They have been having the shaking in their defense line. But if you look at the match, same thing you also look at Manchester City. They also have a defense failure. But I think Ruben Diaz is back, and the pairing of Ruben Diaz and Mate against Liverpool, I saw that pairing and I felt like, okay, this is a solid one. They've not gotten it right, but I think it's going to be a solid one. These two defenders, Ruben Diaz is a very, very, very experienced defender who has seen it all. He has been there, so he knows how to, and he has played against world-class players. So he will be able to command that defense. He is very strong, very physical, and also know how to convert chances. So these two pairs are very good, but you can't say for Newcastle United. And then you are looking at the strikers that are very, 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 very strong and precise. Of course, you look at Alan and say he's not in form, but that goal is scored against Liverpool, got him on reading, and he has gone on to continue to score. So I think he's now getting his rhythm back again. And so you look at the attacks, Menyo is also doing well, Ryan Cheki doing well, Omar Mamu is also given a chance, he wants to prove a point. I mean, they have it going for them in the attack. Even in the midfield, you can't take it away from them. So I feel like they are going to win it all, but I feel the two places that we want to hold on to, Manchester City, the battle to be won, it will be in the midfield and the attack. And I don't think Newcastle have that strength to pull against Manchester City.
Okay, strengths that they can pull up against a City side. We'll watch and see what happens. Let's get your 2 cents on what you feel when the encounter comes on between these two football teams that are playing the Champions League.
Okay, so I think it was an impressive finish for Newcastle against Paraguay. I didn't see that coming. It showed that the English Premier League had something going on that is quite very interesting. With that particular win, I think almost all the English teams are there, for the Champions League competition, which makes a lot of sense. But then this is Manchester City we're talking about, just like John rightfully said. There's a lot. Manchester City has a lot. You laid a lot of emphasis on the very, very, very good, top-notch strikers and wingers too. Semenyo, Haaland, just mentioned a few. And then we cannot say that for Newcastle. But then again,
Gordon scored 4. I've been waiting for someone to mention it.
Chill.
Gordon is all in and out, off and on.
But then when you bring them to City side, it's another different story altogether. I remember, just unlike the other one, this particular one is more like a comeback for Newcastle. They really want to avenge what really happened to them the last time by the 3-1 defeat. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. If I were to predict, I would say that this would start with a City win by halftime, but will end probably in a draw by full time.
Possibly. I wouldn't want to ask you because I feel like I know what you want to say.
What would I say?
What you want to say is that City can't win Newcastle.
I'm not.
I'm coming. I want you to be objective. Don't speak out of your what you want. Speak what you think is right. Will be the outcome. City against Newcastle. I wanted to prep you, but let's see if the prepping will work in
City against Newcastle. This season,
Newcastle is a strong side.
Within just this year, from January till now, these two teams have seen this stage 2 times the Calabar Cup. You understand? And you saw the win and
they played in the Premier League in the first leg. Newcastle were winners too.
That was last year.
Yeah.
That was. I'm thinking about this year.
This year.
This year, no, they met twice.
And now the 2 meetings are about to be in their home. Manchester City, FPR.
So, but one thing you should understand now is that Newcastle, they are trying to ginger themselves back. You know, the first half of the season wasn't that juicy for them because of Isak. The whole of Isak saga and everything really affected their games.
And two of them they collect now. Isaac is collecting, Newcastle is collecting.
Yeah, both of them are
I don't feel like the girl who survived.
nobody survived it because they felt Isak would have been a better option for Newcastle if he was still there. This Champions League game would have been one of the best things we have given all his play. But what about the City? City don't see the trophy and lay their eyes off it. That one thing will take Guardiola. But one thing I know is that Newcastle will give them a run for their money this time around.
It's not going to be one.
It's not going to just be an easy game. Even if City is going to win, it may be on that 2.5 goals. Because this Newcastle side has seen the way City play. The second leg of the Carabao Cup, you saw the way it ended. Even after it ended 3-1. But Newcastle gave a run for that in that game. They played, just that it wasn't connecting for their strikers. In all the game, they played well, but the strikers were not getting that finishes. But if they can manage it with this win in the Champions League, in 6-1, if they can get something like that, believe me, the match may end in a draw for them, or they may get something away from this match.
Okay, they might be able to get something away from this match if they can fight for it. That takes us now to the City ground, where Nottingham Forest will be up against Liverpool in an interesting encounter. In fact, comment came out from Wayne Rooney, disappointing comment for me, saying that Slot lacks the personality to coach Liverpool. That he's saying that he lacks the charisma, and that if he doesn't make it to the UEFA Champions League places, that he might be relieved of his duties. Coming from a manager that failed multiple places.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Where he summoned the courage. Well, now we know what is happening. Nottingham Forest got a new cat in the block. In fact, they've had a terrible outing. You know, the 0-0 draw against Wolves the last time. Before Wolves had a 0-0 draw with Arsenal, it was mentioned. Tells you about a team that needs to start getting the points now. They've not dropped to relegation zone, but they're not far away from it. What are your takes, Sia?
Basically, I feel Nottingham Forest is going to come into that match with everything they have because they're desperate to have a win. You know, having about 2 draws, 2 wins and 1 loss. It's not such a fantastic outcome, but then they really need that win to be able to stop their chance. And then Liverpool, on the other hand, equally need wins because having beautiful seasons before now, both Slots and the players are under immense pressure. It's quite unfortunate that when Rooney, who said partially the truth, but did not have a record for himself, he's saying something like that. But then I feel Liverpool should have a walkover against Nottingham Forest. But having a walkover is one thing I'm thinking. Nottingham Forest is not going to allow that player. Nottingham Forest will go into that particular match to win, not even to draw.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. But I want to get you to that point. 2024, Nottingham Forest got a 1-0 win over Liverpool. 2025, on the 14th of January, it was 1-0 that it ended in the Premier League. In 2025, on the 22nd of November, Nottingham Forest blasted Liverpool 3-0. Or we can say, yeah, okay, it's not the same coach. Okay, it's different now. But I feel in the last 3 outings against Forest, Liverpool gave strongly. In fact, in the last 4, it was just a 1-0 win in 2024. That was on the 2nd of March. So if you take a good look at the results coming out in the last 4, puts Nottingham Forest to get something working.
I think you said it. You say that it's not the same manager. Yes, under Espirito Santos, We all saw it. Liverpool couldn't. It was a difficult task for them. Under Sean Dyche, it was a difficult task for them. Now they are going to be meeting a new manager who has come out to say that he is starting work immediately and his mentality is win and win it all. Yes, Victor Pereira, not a manager that everybody gets to see or believe that he can bring something in the Premier League. But I mean, I want to give him that. I want to believe that he must have called the players, sat them down and talked to them, just like what Matt Carrick did to Manchester United, gave them a winning mentality, and all of a sudden it changed. And then you're wondering, is it not the same player who Benamoyin was complaining that they don't have the philosophy, they are not in tune with what he's talking about? And the same player Matt Carrick brought in, won Manchester City, won Arsenal. I mean, then you wonder what went wrong here. I think that's the same philosophy Victor Pereira will bring into this Nottingham Forest side. Talk to them, tell them they believe in themselves. I mean, Liverpool is not a team that you want to bank on right about now. We saw them struggle in the league. I mean, against the Sunderland team, it was just a messy goal for them. And then they played against the Manchester City. We all saw how it was so messy for them. So I think, I am that type of person that will not want to say, okay, you just want to talk, but you have not done it, but you know how to give advice like Wayne Rooney. But what Wayne Rooney has said is 100%, and it's not you don't have the philosophy. I mean, you could see that when you're in club was in even Brendan Rodgers when he stands as the manager on that touchline, we all see the kind of charisma he carries. And his slot do not have it.
He looks a little confused.
He doesn't have it. If you see even when he went doing games, his changes are terrible. He does not know how to make changes that will come into the game and make impact. How many times this season, even last season, I just felt like these players they just came together and told themselves, let's do it for your club. Because this season you will see game, you're not winning game, you are supposed to bring in a change. Once the change comes in, it goes into that game and make that important match change that we will see. But all the time that Anislot has stood there in the touchline, he has not made any change that made the game different. So I think I will go with Wayne Rooney. He doesn't have this charisma. These are kind of managers. I'm that kind of person that will say David Moyes. When he was going to Manchester United, everybody was like, I was one of the people that said, I don't think he has the charisma to be a Manchester United manager. And he went down flop. Look at him in Everton. Doing well. Same thing. And the Slot is an average coach, I'm sorry to say. But he is. He cannot coach a team like Liverpool. Maybe if you put him in a West Ham, put him in a Fulham, he can do well. I mean, look at the club he's coming from.
Why has he been emphasizing on Fulham?
Let's not
try to emphasize on Fulham for anybody that
because we have three Nigerians. Nigerians.
Nigerians are happy. That's what you're trying to say.
They're playing for average team.
But let's not dwell so much on this and forget that the Slot part of the only three managers that won the Premier League in their first season.
Oh,
Give it up for him.
Give it.
Yeah.
But if you use a player that was assembled by Jürgen
Assembled.
It's something that we can attest to.
Chelsea finished.
You understand, right?
Second under Ranieri in the season before Mourinho arrived, and it's never easy to win the league.
I mean, Anthony Conte did it when he came into the Premier League.
Just count a few managers. In fact, the most successful manager in the Premier League waited as much as 5 years.
Some are still waiting
to be able to win the league. And one of the best managers in the league right now is still waiting.
Let's call him. Let's call him.
And he's still waiting. Let's call him. This is going.
How long
I'm saying
to win the league?
It took him time. Yes.
How long did it take us to get together?
That's what I'm saying. So we must wait.
How long does he even repeat that?
So we got won the league 3 times before he did that.
3 times you won the league before
but
you did
after he did
some places.
And he won more FA Cups than any other manager in the Premier League.
You won what?
More FA Cups than any other player.
And that is people's fault. And it has always been people's fault from telling you that.
It's not our fault. See,
Wenger is nicknamed the man that changed the Premier League for good.
Yeah.
A lot of persons didn't see that he could do it. In fact,
He didn't.
he changed 4-4-2. He brought the dynamics, the diamond formation,
and brought out good players.
People wondered how. It was, in fact, one of his strikers is one of the ever best,
Yeah.
Thierry Henry. And these are players nobody believed could do it. But let's not waste so much time. We just have to.
Mikel Arteta will do it.
Let's talk about Arsenal in that game against Spurs. In fact, the Gunners must win. If the Gunners fail to win at the Tottenham Stadium, if they fail to take home 3 points, I put it to me that, just like you said, City are not planning to slow down, not now, not tomorrow, not anytime soon. So let's get what you think when these two teams go head to head. In fact, always remember that there is a Tudor. There's a Tudor who is a loudmouth, who is talking about what is going on.
He's not just a loudmouth, he's also a very good coach.
Okay, a practical coach.
Yes.
Now, but it's important to note that in the last 5, it's just been all Arsenal. In fact, they've done it with more clean sheet than anything. What are your takes? But then Arsenal could not win Wolves, remember? So, off the mic, go ahead.
there's something we should understand about Arsenal Tottenham games.
Okay.
Tottenham and Arsenal.
It's a game that has already been won.
No, it's not a game that has already been won. It's a familiar game for Arsenal.
Familiar spirit.
Yeah, it's a familiar game for Arsenal. When I mean familiar, I mean the stadium. The two teams have mastered both stadiums.
It's a London derby.
Yeah. So, and once you are playing against the Tottenham side, it's a different team Arsenal comes in with.
And this is winning fast.
It's not every London derby is like a cup match for Arsenal. That's what you should understand. Every London derby is like a cup final for Arsenal. So they would be in their kit to do anything, and that's why you see even players that have not been able to do anything in the last match, we want to perform.
But do you think on Wednesday Arsenal did not play like this?
Arsenal played their best game, but what you should understand that along the line, the goal that came at that 94th minute of the game, that the stopping end goal, was an own goal. It was an own goal, a mistake from the defense.
So what I'm saying is,
so
if you have a team that wants to win, you must learn to kill off games, especially against Milos.
yeah,
But kill off, you 2-0 up and you concede 1 goal, and you think the best option is to go sit back.
that is the thing.
I guess the team that's doing everything the same. They care less. They really care less of whatever outcome that will come. In fact, who is down fears no fall, and that's the attitude. So, what is actually lacking in this Arsenal side? See, that is the reason why
I think
and I feel like we struggle against Spurs because the new manager effect for today was coming to play.
Yeah, the new manager effect was coming to play, but along the line, it seems after the match against what's it called, against Wigan, Arteta came out to say a lot of injuries issues and all this that injuries have been coming. He's not thinking about the four they pose again. You understand that these are players. I still wondering why is he saying this now? Because a coach can easily boost the team, the morale of the player by saying positive things. You understand? Saying positive things.
And even went on to say after the worst game that they played one of their worst games in the second half. The fact that they were not deserving.
Frustration.
Something is telling on him. Something is telling on him. And another thing, I expected Arsenal to go into the market January to get
I was surprised about that.
additional players because what they got in the summer it worked for them, but Eucharist is not really performing the way we planned he was going to.
But Jesus is back.
Jesus
how
is
many
back.
goals has he kept back?
Yeah, he's back. But what do you should understand that?
Kai is injured and Kai is the main man at Arsenal up front there.
So I think for me, this Tottenham match will be maybe a stepping stone to see if we can keep that.
So let me add something here. This Tottenham match is a touch of let's go into it, inshallah. Let's what you think?
Okay. I think their coach is not being very encouraging. I'm of the opinion that if he fails this season, he should be let go.
No,
he has,
no,
he has,
see,
he has, he has
see, I will play. Say, don't cover it up. Say he should be sacked.
Okay.
You say, if you don't,
Okay. But if he doesn't do it, he should be sacked, But then, that's not the point of contention, my brother. The thing there is, between last season, and this season, I think Arsenal has, even before this season, the last 5 head-to-heads, I think Arsenal has always had the upper hands. In the last 5, Tottenham has only won 1, and that is 1-0. That was last year. This year again, last year again, Arsenal came against Tottenham, and then Arsenal gives Tottenham 4 goals to 1. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, 4 goals to 1. That is to show that Arsenal have always had the upper hand when it has to do with their London debuts against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, but this is not the case. The case now is Tottenham has a new regime, and the regime needs to prove a point with this particular one. And Arsenal has a lot of injuries, just like Coach made mention of. Arsenal used to boast of a second 11 that is as good as the first 11. So does it mean that the first 11 and the second 11 equally has a series of injuries at this particular point? I'm directing that question.
Diaba said go to the market.
No.
In January, and they failed to go to the market. And now, from the way he sounded, I think he has considered defeat. I have not.
So, but the truth of the matter is,
I say
anything that happens to you people, you people do not even need a draw. Arsenal does not need a draw. Arsenal does not need a draw. If Arsenal loses this match against Tottenham, or does the match, it's an OT.
Because we shall know that City will beat them comprehensively.
It's an OT.
I don't say so.
No, forget the City. They will beat you. But wait,
City cannot beat us.
Wait, you will draw it. So you don't need to draw.
And it's possible that you will lose and draw all the other games.
You understand? And you still have Chelsea to play. I know what it is. But wait,
playing against Chelsea.
Win Tottenham first. Win Tottenham first.
As they walk in the park for us now.
Thank you. And you couldn't even say walk in the park for the one you have history of winning.
Wolves.
No, okay, Wolves is. You don't even have walk in the park for this one you have history of winning.
All the Gunners, the Wolves.
You understand? So you should prepare yourself to win Tottenham, and then we can have discussions of the next.
Well, for a team that boasted at the point this season that they will concede less than 15 goals, let me officially tell you that they've conceded 25 more than Jose Mourinho's team that gets 15 goals in the season. Now, they are 4 goals away from conceding the same number of goals that they conceded by Manchester City, with the most porous, one of the most porous defense in the league. So the whole Saliba, Gabriel, Hinkaki, and all of the drama happening in the back. In fact, without Saliba, there is Mosquera. Now, it's just 4 goals away for that Arsenal defense to have conceded the same number of goals conceded by Manchester City's defense. And remember, City, with all my quotations, have got a game in hand. That is to say, they've played 26 times this season, and Arsenal have played 27. Now, in that 26 times, City have managed to score 54 times, and Arsenal have managed 52 times. So, if by any means City gets to win their game in hand, then you will now see that City is looking like a more prepared team to win the league by numbers and by action. Because an Arsenal side that run away 9 points at a point, it's not far off now. 9 points somewhere in January
than City. Leave it down.
Yes, I just analyzed why. I just analyzed why. City have conceded 24 and scored 54. So do the plus and minus. But Arsenal have conceded 20 and scored 52. So they're just equal. Is equal now. 52 to 20 and 54 to 24.
Yeah, it's okay. No, what 2 goals ahead?
2 points, not goals.
2 goals.
2 goals ahead. Abi? 2 goals ahead and 2 points ahead. Paraventure.
Relax. Why are you so much emphasizing on?
Because I don't
you told.
We told you.
My
And then you refused.
You
my
told
my
me.
friend will always
When
say,
Chelsea
I
said,
told you,
wait,
Chelsea
I told you, no, Chelsea was not
Chelsea was never
but
looking for the
I remember in our last edition, you had an issue that Chelsea was going to win Leeds United. But you saw what eventually happened against.
and that is why we are reminding you.
That's what I'm reminding you of what you said.
And will happen.
When Arsenal plays,
Yeah, Chelsea is
when
not.
Arsenal is playing
Chelsea is
all
not-
these
Even
relegation
the Champions League itself, Chelsea know they look for them. The way we have they look for them.
Well, because Chelsea have won it twice.
You know, and they
Arsenal-
don't have
but one thing you should understand is that it is not over in football
Until it is over.
So let's
I like that.
So before we round up on this episode, let's get what you think about Spurs going head to head with Arsenal. The floor. I yield the floor.
I mean, Ugo Tudor is talking tough. His first interview, he was saying that he has a winning mentality. And
Did he mention Arsenal?
then, of course, and then he said it will be one of the very big tests to play against.
Precious, let's check his BPO. Are you okay?
We'll check. He will use his mentality to check if his winning strike is going to work against us, and it is a very good thing to be playing his first game as a manager in the Premier League against a top-sided team like Arsenal. I think it's going to be a very tough game for Arsenal. But see, there's one thing about Arsenal: when you don't give them the credit, they always come to the party to play, and I think I'll give it to Arsenal.
Okay, giving to Arsenal is the best news for this young man.
not the best
And interesting. So let's get into it. Who are you giving it to?
Right now, I'm giving it a full time.
Spurs. Okay, full-time draw.
Yes.
And that will take City above
Exactly.
Arsenal Paraventure.
Exactly.
Always remember, Paraventure. Because when you have played your own and
I still believe Arsenal will win the league, even with 1 point. I mean, Manchester City has done it
Yes.
with 1 point.
Yes.
I believe Arsenal can Mikel Arteta.
do you know now at the moment, if City win all their games, they win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Arsenal
Yeah.
win all their games, they win to win.
How?
1 game. Arsenal have played 27 games, City have played 26.
And it's 2 points.
There are 2 points.
Yes.
So if they play their game and win, it will now be 1 point.
So
I'm
now,
not throwing you confusion.
So 1 point. If Man City play game at hand,
And
I said
wait.
if Arsenal,
if Arsenal win all the rest of
Arsenal
their
can't win all
games,
their games if City win all their games because one is Arsenal.
yes, they are going to play against Arsenal.
So
then you also made a statement that if Arsenal wins all their games, because one is Man City,
so they will the league.
that's
So it's not about
it's the same. What I said is, it is not over until it is over.
Yeah.
Of
Let's
nine
go to the
points,
final
of
whistle.
9 points, it was
Some
losing.
2-3 weeks ago.
This is not the story.
This wasn't what you.
And
I was saying it. I said, see,
you
You
said
said
when Arsenal went 2-0 up, did you ever imagine ending 2-2?
I didn't want
Be
the match.
honest.
I didn't want the match.
But I mean,
I had to go through this live scores
Because of
to check it. No, I didn't know. There was no light. You understand? There was no light, so there was no means of watching the match. But along the line, I had to check. I saw a 2-1. Before I woke up this morning, I saw this one.
Oh, it's not even this morning.
I saw the 2-2.
Well,
No problem. All the same is good. It's a better thing than losing.
Yeah.
I must also point out the fact that it's important to understand that football is not about to be over. A lot of games, and I've been saying it on this show. I'm glad that he's beginning to agree because you can't win the league. I was here saying you must count the number of games left to play. I think at this moment there is a nearly 11 games or 12
For
games.
some, like Arsenal is 11.
11 or 12.
Why others
City is for 12. So if you're going to play in 12 games, injuries, comebacks, change of coach, sack, a team that you would have beaten could get a new coach the next morning. And this is why we must wait. And this is why I don't think any other team would dominate the Premier League like City at all with the way they've played in the last few years. In fact, there were points they gave teams gaps, and maybe we felt this could be Arsenal year, the recruitment and all of them, but it's going down to the wire and the way it's looking. In fact, it's like all the teams will play till their last day of the season to find out who wins the league. Because I feel like Arsenal will come back like a wounded lion after that draw yesterday. I don't want to be in that dressing room yesterday. Everybody will blame everybody, and it will end in let's not let it repeat. Because if they don't let it repeat, then they can have a go at it. And I feel like maybe they function better when the points are slim than when they are a bit comfortable in the top. So when it's slimmer, just know you're on the banana peel, you're hanging in the balance, you just have to stay focused. But I felt like it's Wolves we are playing now. Some players could go clubbing, some could spend time with family. After all, it's Wolves. And we're coming in the night and we're leading 2 goals to nothing. A beautiful goal from Sakai in the first half. And they add the second, I think it's Hinkapi's first goal for Arsenal, and they're looking like, oh, we're in control. And the next minute, bang, bang, and you're in a draw. So I feel like Mikel Arteta should call an emergency meeting, talk to his boys. If City wins the league, I feel like Pep would want to walk away from the Premier League and say, I've conquered it. And all of that, we want to see how it unfolds. With all our predictions, instead of giving it to Spurs against Arsenal, I feel like that's the biggest game.
No, I said that it's going to
The draw. I'm giving it to Arsenal. I'm giving it to Arsenal. I'm giving it to Spurs. So we'll see what happens when we come back. This is much we can take. We've had this episode very long. I will thank you for being there. We know that you actually enjoyed it. Thank you, Kuruma, who was behind the camera. Thank you so much, Wilfred, for being a part of this one. We want Arsenal to win the league. Hope you know.
Everyone wants Arsenal to win the league.
Thank you very much.
Everybody seems to be Arsenal now.
Right now, right? Thank you so much, Wendo. It's been an amazing time hanging out with you guys. Let's do this on the next episode. Ciao.